The greatest TV show podcast is here to stay. Motherfucker!
They tried to take it away, but they didn't because we made them pay.
Oh, they paid.
Here comes season 2, episode number
2.
Ha-ha! And we're back, motherfuckers. We're trying new intros this season, so stay tuned for some weird shit to happen to you in the beginning of the episode.
Hope you like them.
So here we are at episode 2 of season 2, and we are going to talk about Car Trouble Part 2 of the trilogy.
Yes, so it's episode 2 of season 2, and it's
episode 2 of
episode
scene
2
1
of the Car
Take
Trouble
85.
trilogy.
Click.
That's a tongue twister right there.
You know what a tongue twister is?
You get your tongue twisted and ba 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 ba. It's not the same as a titty twister, right?
If I was a...
Make sure we mark this episode as explicit.
Oh, I will.
Oh wait, they're all
motherfucking explicit, motherfucker. Shit.
All right, rein it in. No, that was weak. Do that again. There we go. Okay.
We both caught it.
Car Trouble, episode 2 of the trilogy. Take it away, Mike.
So we're gonna start this episode with our personal stories.
Yes, we've recently both
I have a Honda Accord. If anyone did not know, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I don't care how much money I have. I'm keeping that car.
We are but of simple people.
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
So,
KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
So I had recently had new tires and brakes put on, and apparently they used all the cheap shit.
Oh, I hate that.
So automatically my rotors are warped, and my brakes go.
Oh, that's great. Does the steering wheel shake too?
No, thank God. I just feel it with my pedal.
Wow. That's interesting.
So anyway, brand new tires. Ended up running over a screw or a nail.
Oh, that is annoying.
So I had changed that, and then shortly after doing that, I put the donut on. I took it to a store. I'm not going to share the name, although I should. And when I put the donut on,
Right.
I accidentally left the car comes with the key.
Okay.
The lug nut key. That's the special lug nut for your car. So I accidentally left it on the lug nut. It looked like one of the obviously because it's a lug nut, but like the tool looked like part of the lug nut that was sticking out of the donut.
Yeah.
So I just thought I put it away. Drove away and don't have my key.
Oh.
So when I took it to get the donut replaced, I didn't have the key, and they didn't have a key.
Wow.
I'm like, how do you not have a key? You change tires for a living. Like, why would you not have a key?
I guess that's the safety of the key. I don't want everybody to have the key.
So I had to go on a specific website and find the right fucking part.
Wow.
It was a process. So in the meantime, these guys decided they were able to get it off because it stuck out enough to where they can get it off, and they just replaced it with a different lug.
Right.
But they cross-threaded it, and then ended up, when I went to get the new key and I went to take it off, I just wanted to take the lug nut off myself and put the lug nut key on with the new tool that I got.
Okay.
The fucking thing was stripped, and the stud broke. In my driveway, now I have one stud missing out of my fucking car. I'm like, you fucking kidding.
Oh, I hate that.
So I had to go to a different place, and they welded a new one and did the whole thing. And
you know, it's so now that you mentioned brakes, I was going to talk about one car trouble story, but now I have 2 car trouble stories. And this is good for the listeners because we will get to the greatest TV show episode where Al and Vinny do have car trouble, but we're going to talk about a bunch of car trouble because if you're out there with car trouble and you don't know what the hell is going on with your car, you can have the knowledge and be protected against the mechanics that scam you.
ooh,
Because,
right.
you know, if you ever notice when you go to the mechanic, what do they say? They say, oh, it's a common problem with this car. Yeah, every fucking thing that's wrong with your car is a common problem with your car.
Or they want to charge you $80 for a filter that you can just take 2 screws and
exactly.
do it yourself.
So back in the day, a long time ago, before I was on the greatest TV show ever with Mike here, I drove a Hyundai Sonata, okay?
Ooh.
And
how about taking it back 10 yards?
This is way back, and whenever I would drive on the highway, I would press the brake, and then all of a sudden, when I would let go of the brake, the steering wheel would vibrate. I took it to my mechanic. I won't use his real name, but it rhymes with
Ted.
Philly. No, Ted.
Ted, the tool man mechanic. Ted, the car man.
Ted, that's Home Improvements. I needed a car.
No, that's Tim. I'm talking about Ted, the car man.
Ted and Fred?
Shut up. Shut up. Let's move on.
So the
name rhymes with Philly.
There's not many names that rhyme.
Dilly.
Dilly.
Lily.
Gilly.
Gilly.
Gilly is short for Gilbert.
Gilligan.
Gilbert is a name. Gilly is short for
Gilbert is a name. Like Godfrey?
I'm telling you, Gilbert is a name.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Right? That's amazing.
And the Spanish version is Gilberto. Gilberto.
Gilberto. Say hi.
Okay. Rein it in, please.
Say hello to my little friend Gilberto.
Back to my Honda.
Haha, Sonata.
The steering wheel was vibrating, right? Brought it to the mechanic, and he actually found what the problem was.
A Barbie doll stuck in your engine.
He did not find a Barbie doll stuck in my engine, okay? He found that there are 2 lines for the brake pads, okay? One that squeezes the brake pads, and one that releases the pressure so the brake pad can come off the rotor.
Okay.
Well, my return brake line was not letting the pressure off, so the brakes were getting stuck on the rotor, heating them up and causing the vibration.
Nice.
Can you believe that?
I can.
He was a good mechanic.
He was.
Philly was a good mechanic. He knew his stuff. Okay, and a funny thing he used to do is if your car was dirty, he would draw a diagram of what he was talking about in the dirt on your car. So this is the line that goes in this way, and this is the exit line, and I'm looking at.
So basically, wash me is what your car is saying.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the Hyundai Sonata issue that I had. The brake pads were not releasing the rotor. That's
Have you ever gotten gas and turned your car off to get gas?
I always turn my car off. This is Jersey. It's a law. You have to do that. Go ahead, Michael.
Well, mine didn't turn back on once.
Oh, and you got stuck there?
I got stuck there. I had to get a jump. And then the gas attendant. So in Jersey, we pump our own gas. It's very stupid. But we don't pump our own gas. We're not allowed to pump our own gas. So the gas stations have to hire somebody and pay them to pump everyone else's gas
and we
for
have
them.
cheaper gas.
And sure we do. We're like, no, we're not anymore.
Yes, we do.
No, they changed.
We're cheaper than like California and everything.
Yeah, but they changed. We used to be way cheaper. Now they changed the state tax, so we skyrocketed. So
but we're still
like top 5. No, we're like top 5.
Are we really?
Yeah, we were like way at the bottom.
I haven't driven out of state in a while.
It's insane.
Wow.
Except for New York. New York's fucking crazy too.
Yeah, of course.
But anyway. So yeah, here in Jersey, we're fucking assholes. We have to stay in our car so someone can come up to us and be like, "What would you like?" And say, "Fill it up regular," and then we have a guy who goes, "Fill it up regular." So you say, "Fill it up regular," and he repeats everything you say. Fill it up regular.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
$10 cash. $10 cash.
Well, okay, but there's a reason behind that.
Absolutely. So they know what they're doing, and they know it's on record. And
they don't make a mistake.
Exactly.
Because I'm sure that they've filled up.
Or you give them the cash before they fill the tank.
Yes,
and they fill the tank asking for money. Like, I already paid you. No, you didn't.
I don't want to go and fill up my Jeep Cherokee with ultra premium $5 a gallon. That shit'll take off to the moon, man. So that's my second quick story about my Jeep. This is where the mechanic used it's a common problem. So apparently the oil filter housing. So that is for the listeners there so you understand where the filter goes for the oil. It sits in a little housing thing there and it's very close to the engine. And the Jeep is 9 years old. I love my Jeep, same as you. I'm not going to get rid of it till it dies. The heat and the cold and hot and cold after all those years.
Sounds like an episode from season 1.
Yeah, hot and cold. Remember that episode? So it sprung a leak, and I had to get that changed. Needless to say, $800 later, 3.5 hours, or that's what they say it took them to.
Honestly, it was like 2 minutes.
Jeep is fixed, and the oil stays in the engine, and it's beautiful. It
instead of on the windshield.
Yeah. But this mechanic, I do trust him like 80% so far. So
not like Philly Gilly.
Not like Philly Gilly. No, I don't trust him as far as I could throw him.
So if we go back to the series.
Okay, so yes, greatest TV show.
Yes, back to the greatest TV show. In the series, we're going to recall the episode where Al had his white Cavalier,
right,
and he was convinced by many of his peers to get rid of it because one, it was hideous because it was so rusted. And it was getting pretty loud. And
you remember when we told the story of Al and Vinny changing the starter with all the oil all over it?
Right. And then you can smell, like, the smell wasn't, like, smell of gas was in the car. I think it was a gas leak somewhere in the...
Yeah.
it was time.
Horrible.
It was time. So, Al's looking for a car, and he finds an ad online. He finds an ad online with this woman who's selling her... I forget what the car was. But it was $1,000 for the car, and it was it was like a Ford something. It was in very decent shape.
Right.
And
you were looking. So Al was looking at cars with Greg.
Well, Al was looking at cars with himself, with himself.
He was looking at cars with himself. Maybe by himself. Maybe is that what you think? Oh boy!
Well, Al was looking at like Craigslist. That was big back then.
Yeah,
so I was looking at Craigslist, and then Greg came around and found one. I don't even know where he found this car, like a gas station or some junkyard. I don't remember.
Odd things.
He always was good, quote unquote, good.
Yeah, we're going to mention some of the cars that he drove in his time on the show.
He was good like that, finding some random crap.
Yeah.
Here, you buy this one. This one's good.
The studio, the directors, the producers, they would send out car scouts to look for the crappiest cars, so we could bring them on the show and just stick Al and Vinny and Greg with all these crappy cars. Yeah. It became a thing.
So, I'm looking at this woman's car, and it's got like scratch marks on the ceiling, like as if she had a cat or something was
on the inside.
On the inside, okay. Like the roof was all scratched.
Right.
I'm like, that's interesting. There was like nasty sex in here. Like, what's going on?
With like long nails?
Yeah, I don't know. Weird. It was weird. So, and then I could tell like her body language and everything. She was like really into Al, and Al got that feeling.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And she was. She was a big woman.
Yes. And it's funny too because you think, I don't know if people think about this, like when you have the casting director has a particular image of the character based on what the writers have written.
Mm-hmm.
And when people audition, sometimes you don't get the role because you don't really fit the description of the character. And, sometimes people might think it's a racial issue or this or that. And we just want to let you know that it doesn't necessarily mean that. It's just that we have a description of the character, and you have to look for that. Right. And it has to fit that.
And then it has to be a chemistry.
Right, a chemistry also, and how they read the lines.
Right.
It has so many things to do with so many things. And it's not just as simple as...
Right. And I think she was, like, starstruck almost. Because I think it was, like, you would look at her, and she always, like, whenever Al would look at her,
right,
or whenever I would look at her,
yeah.
I think she was falling in love with me.
Oh, that's possible.
Because she always, like, powder, like, how do you say it when you with your eyes, you puff your eyes, you blink your eyes really fast, like, oh, look at me.
Yeah. Flutter the eyes.
Flutter the eyes, yeah. She fluttered her eyes every time she saw me. And I didn't do it back.
So this woman is playing the actress. She's really into Al.
Really into Al.
Yeah.
And she really wants to sell the car.
Maybe she wanted to make more marks on the ceiling.
And Greg comes along and is really trying to sell Al this green Ford Taurus, this hideous looking piece of shit.
The green beast.
So, I forget what I used to call that thing.
I'm calling it the Green Beast now, but I don't remember. They remember it on the show.
On the show, they created a name for it. I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember. I'm dubbing it the Green Beast as of right now.
I think it was the Green Hornet, not the Green Hornet. It was something. It was something stupid. Anyway, and the only reason Al went with Greg's decision was because he was afraid of the woman.
Yes, yeah, he didn't want to have any connection.
God, if I buy this car, it's going to mean that... I mean, Al thought if I bought the car...
Oh, did it? The writers... wasn't one of the lines that gave it away is, you asked her, how does it perform? And she was like, I don't know, let's find out. And I think she wanted to take it for a ride.
You got to put your hand on the shifter here.
She said she was going to shift it for her.
I'm going to wrap my legs around you and choke you to death.
Oh my God. With the thunder thighs around you.
Oh, yeah! Remember, that's from Parenthood. Yeah. Remember the movie?
Yeah. Oh, I love that movie. That's great.
Come on, see you later, Thunder Thighs! Adios, buckaroos!
Oh, that's great. Forgot about that movie.
So Al ends up getting this green Taurus, and it just starts to fall apart.
Piece by piece.
You know, because we didn't have any money to keep up with the breakingness of the car. It was like a 94 Taurus, 96. It was old.
Yeah, I think what they used to do...
This is mid-2000 teens.
In between shooting the episodes, the cast and crew would take the car out for a ride and just drive it around and hit all the speed bumps. And they wanted the natural breakdown of the car.
Of course.
You know, we didn't loosen any bolts or anything like that. They wanted to see it deteriorate in front of our eyes.
And it was the same car. It wasn't like they had an extra
car.
They didn't have an extra one laying around to do stunts with. No, It was the same car. So whatever happened to this car...
We would come back to the set, and there would be something missing or some, like, noise it was making. And we would ask the crew, what on earth did you do to this car? So, of course, this leads us to the one episode where... Al goes to work. He doesn't need the car. And he leaves it parked on the wrong side of the street for the street cleaning and load up.
Right.
For those of you who don't know what street cleaning is on the show, so in New Jersey, a lot of spots they have street cleaning. A big sweeper comes by and cleans the street, barely cleans anything, but, you know, it tries. And Al calls Vinny and says, I left my car on the wrong side. You got to move it. I'm like, sure, no problem. The keys are in the apartment. You remember the episode. Vinny grabs the keys, goes downstairs, starts the car, turns the steering wheel, and all he hears is a large, loud crack, like, and the
ting, ting, ting.
And the steering wheel is spinning, and the wheels are not
doing anything.
So Vinny does, he scratches his head and tries to figure out.
How am I supposed to get this car from here to here?
I don't know. I guess he's going to have to get a ticket. And Al just doesn't have money for a ticket. So he's like, I'm going to call my friend. And tell your friend to help you move the car. So one of Al's friends come over, and so they start the car, and they're looking at it, and they're trying to figure out how to get this car to the other side of the street. And Vinny comes up with the idea. This is great writing, by the way. The writers on the show, as we always say, are great. So Vinny says, all right, I'll stay on the outside, and Al's friend is going to be on the other side of the car to push the car. We put the car in neutral, and power steering kind of worked a little bit. It kept the wheels. So as we pushed the car,
did it?
Vinny,
I don't remember that.
It was, well,
I thought we just kept...
No, we didn't. Yeah, that's what happened. So the power steering kept the tires a little loose.
Okay.
So as we pushed it, you remember?
Right.
And so as we're pushing the car, I'm kicking the tire so it turns to the left. And we're inching it to the other side of the road, inching. And then I have to run around the other side and I have to kick it back to the right so we can try to ease it into a parking spot.
Can we just talk about how that scene was created. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
The permits we needed permits from the city to be able to block traffic.
The police were there.
The police were there.
They divert traffic another way.
Right.
Sure, absolutely. It's no small task when you have to film in a little town and you need to block traffic. And unfortunately for the residents, for a couple days maybe.
Yeah, we found out who the nice residents and the mean residents were.
Yes, because that's true.
Obviously, if you found out someone's filming something,
right,
you're gonna come outside. It's just like the famous stand-up comedian with his famous, skit, when he goes, "Oh, I was washing the dishes and I heard it, so I came out. I brought the dish as Exhibit A, and I came out. I came out I didn't have any shoes on, and I heard it, so I came out." It's like you're in a car accident, but they're filming something, so you're going to come out and see what stars are there.
Of course.
Oh,
yeah. So, exactly right. Some residents were grateful. We absolutely met with them and signed autographs. And,
absolutely.
They wanted to tell us stories of the neighborhood and all that kind of thing, all the stuff that happens in Lodi, New Jersey. Very exciting.
Mm.
So we got it in the spot, and Al comes home from work and has to start searching on the internet for a car junking service that would actually come pick it up also.
And he found one.
We found one, but also if you remember, Al would call these places and they were screening for what kind of car it was because they don't want to waste their time if it's not worth it.
And they're like, and the major question was, does it run?
Right.
I'm like, well, yes, it does, but
can't steer it.
You can't really drive it anywhere.
And what was awesome was part of the show, we actually really did call. There was no fake calls there. We called real junk yards and real junker places.
Absolutely.
And
so we could
have like original content and original reactions and everything like that. We try to keep it real on the greatest TV show.
I keep it real. I want people playing on the phone. Speaking of phones, we should probably pause for a commercial break because we haven't had one in a while.
Yes, we haven't had an unsponsored commercial break.
And I had a tapping on my shoulder from the producer director of the podcast, Anthony, was telling me to Vinny.
We're hoping to get a sponsored commercial soon. But after that lawsuit, I don't know if anybody's going to sponsor us yet.
Or they'll be throwing themselves at us.
Yes, exactly.
I'm hearing something. What is that?
It's a telephone.
A telephone?
Oh, yeah.
What's a telephone?
Well, you pick it up and you talk to people.
Any people?
Any peoples that you got their phone numbers.
What's a phone number?
It's something you dial with a phone.
Can I talk to somebody in the Bahamas?
Sure.
Can I talk to somebody in Nova Scotia?
Sure.
I don't know anybody in Nova Scotia.
If you want a telephone, go to your local telephone store.
And we're back.
We are back.
Welcome back. How was that? That commercial was fantastic.
Awesome commercial, huh? Really selling those products that we see no royalties on.
But we promote the hell out of them.
All right, back to Car Troubles, episode 2 of the trilogy. We now come back to Vinny's car, black Grand Cherokee, Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Racist.
I have to describe it.
Why is it always a black thing? Why is it always about color?
Folks who haven't seen the car, it is a
At
black.
At least my color was green, like vomit.
Gross. All right, so the black Grand Cherokee, Jeep Grand Cherokee. And we remember Vinny brings it to his mechanic, and it had
Philly Gilly.
And he had car trouble at the drivetrain that connects to the rear axle. The listeners are getting a very good lesson.
Connected to the axle. The axle's connected to the muscle. We are the rules of the law.
The fans are getting...
We are the parts of the car. We are getting what?
We are going to rein it in.
He missed. We're gonna rate it, and he swings and he misses.
All right, so
anyway, Jeep Cherokee that happens
Vinny
to be
brings
black.
it to his
drivetrain fell apart,
and the drivetrain fell apart. Yep, he gets it fixed, and the very same day he's driving down the street of Lodi, pulls it into the driveway, shuts it off, goes in, goes to bed, wakes up the next morning, goes to back out of the driveway, and hears a loud bang. And he looks under. I don't even know how the crew set this up.
they drove Vinny's Jeep around the same way they drove Al's.
They probably did. And so there was a thick wire wrapped around the drivetrain, connected to the rear axle, and it got caught in there. And they had to bring it back to the mechanic because in one day's time it got destroyed.
It's amazing.
What are the chances?
The roads of New Jersey.
Yes, and the debris.
Exactly.
The debris.
I tell my wife all the time, if you see anything in the road while you're driving, avoid it. I don't care if it looks like a piece of paper. Who knows what's in it?
Exactly.
Don't hit it.
Could be court papers. Oh!
And that was another episode from the Greatest TV Show podcast.
Season 2, Episode 2.